to you now. A 25% tariff. India faces the highest rate amongst its peer group. Give us a comparison of how India stacks up against other economies, especially when we talk about China plus one.
You know, when all of this started, March, April, before these Liberation Day tariffs were announced, there was, of course, a rollback, a new deadline, etc., etc. It looked like India would be at the front of the line to get a deal. And that also implied that we perhaps will get some sort of a preferential treatment with regards to the final effective tariff rate. And therein, I think, lies the bigger disappointment because, I mean, our trade with the US is not very big at the moment, but expectation and hope, of course, has been that over the next many years, as manufacturing takes root in India, one is going to be able to sell a lot more to the US. And, as we do that, we'll do that at a much lower tariff rate or maybe a lower tariff rate as compared to some of the others who are competing countries or peers, etc., in the region. That has not happened now, I think, as is very clear from the table which will come up on your screen. I've not put up all the countries, but I think it gives you a sense of countries like Vietnam, which are being charged 20%, Philippines 19%, Indonesia 19%, Japan 15%, and of course, I mean, you've got the European Union, which is being charged about 15% now. For India, of course, it is 25 plus something, which is the penalty because we buy Russian oil and sort of military hardware as well. And I think this is one reason why there is a general sort of level of angst and wonder in terms of what is going on. I just want to say one thing more, which I think puts these numbers in perspective. You know, when you ask the question, why is this so, you also have to look at the background. All the other countries that I mentioned, their starting tariffs for US goods coming into their respective countries was 1% to 3.5% to about 5%. So what they charged US was very, very low. Our import duties, India's effective import duties on an average basis at the end of 2024 stood at close to about 11.5%, 12%. So for these countries to drop their tariffs to zero to get a favorable deal from the US was much easier as compared to, for us, India, to have dropped tariff to zero completely in one go. So I thought that context is important even as we sort of, compare these tariff rates as they stand right now. Back to you.
No, you're absolutely right, Prashant. The context is important, and which is why India perhaps has held back from moving to offer zero tariffs to the US because, as you point out, unlike some of the other countries that you spoke of, we had tariffs as high as 11% versus 1 to 5% in some of those peer group countries that you were speaking of. Many thanks, Prashant, for joining us. But hours after